What would you do if God asked you to give up the thing you love most? This question faced Abraham, one of the most important figures in religious history, in a test that would challenge the very core of his faith and father's heart. Abraham's story begins with a promise. After years of childlessness, God blessed Abraham and his wife Sarah with a son, Isaac, in their old age. This wasn't just any child. Isaac represented God's covenant, a promise that Abraham would become the father of many nations. Every laugh, every step, every moment with Isaac reminded Abraham of God's faithfulness. But one day, God's voice broke through Abraham's peaceful life with an unimaginable command. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. These words must have struck Abraham's heart like thunder. Picture the weight of this request. The son Abraham had waited 100 years to hold, the child of God's promise, the bearer of his legacy. Now he was being asked to give him up. Yet the Bible tells us Abraham rose early the next morning, gathered wood for the offering, and began the 3-day journey to Moriah with Isaac. As they walked together, Isaac noticed something strange. They had the wood, the fire, but no lamb for the sacrifice. "Father," Isaac called out, "where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham's response revealed both his anguish and his faith. "God himself will provide the lamb, my son." Can you imagine the torment in Abraham's mind during that 3-day journey? Every step brought him closer to what seemed like the end of everything he held dear. Yet Abraham continued, driven by an unwavering trust in God's character and promises. At Moriah, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood. With trembling hands, he bound Isaac and placed him on the altar. The Bible doesn't tell us what words passed between father and son in those moments, but we know Isaac, likely a young man by then, submitted to his father's actions. As Abraham raised the knife, his heart surely breaking, a voice rang out, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket. God had indeed provided an alternative sacrifice. This moment transformed the mountain of despair into a place of divine provision. Abraham named the place, "The Lord will provide." And to this day, people still use this phrase to express trust in God's provision during difficult times. The story reaches beyond its ancient setting to touch on universal themes: faith, sacrifice, trust, and divine provision. It asks us to consider what we hold most dear and whether we trust God enough to surrender it. Abraham's test became a testimony that echoes through generations: a father's love, a supreme act of faith, and God's faithful provision. Through this dramatic episode, we see that sometimes our greatest tests become our greatest testimonies. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice Isaac prefigured an even greater sacrifice to come, when another father would give his only son, not just in gesture but in reality, for the salvation of humanity. This story reveals a profound truth. Our deepest struggles often lead to our most significant breakthroughs. Abraham's obedience not only proved his faith, but also secured his place as the father of faith for billions of believers across time. God's promise to Abraham was fulfilled beyond imagination, and his lineage indeed became as numerous as the stars in the sky. The legacy of Abraham's test continues to challenge and inspire people today. It reminds us that faith isn't just about believing. It's about trusting God even when his path seems impossible to understand. In our own moments of testing, Abraham's story stands as a testament that God's provisions often await us in our places of greatest sacrifice. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more weekly content.